And now, a very exciting moment for me personally, because I have the privilege, the honor, and the opportunity to introduce someone I respect very much, I respect deeply, someone I have learned an awful lot from, and someone I can call a close personal friend. He is an extraordinary person, a very strong and very principled man, last but not least, a very successful one. And I had the joy and the honor of working with him for the best part of 16 years in a previous network marketing business we shared. This guy was one of the fastest growing diamonds in the history of Amway, where he spent 10 years. I don't say when, because that would give away his age. After that, he had enough of network marketing, got involved with marketing consultancy. He did work for companies like Coca-Cola. Have you heard about Coca-Cola? Yeah. He was a marketing consultant to Coca-Cola. Then he became involved again with MLM. That's where we met. That's where we spent 15 years together. We were in regular daily, weekly, monthly contact. We shared a lot of ups. We shared a lot of downs. He can testify to that. We had a great time together. He got out of network marketing full-time a few years ago again. He's doing now consulting, marketing, and coaching work for some of the top 100 companies in the United States. He's a renowned speaker, motivator, and his forte is leadership principles, and success principles. I have the honor, the privilege to introduce to you Mr. Bob Goshen. Mr. Bob Goshen from the United States. Please stand up, give him a big round of applause. He's the man.
Thank you, Victor. Are you ready? Are you sure? Here we go. I am here, and I want to go there. I left Houston, Texas, 4 days ago. And when I left Houston, I got Singapore Airlines, and I jumped on a jet. When I got on the jet, I was going to Russia first, Moscow, and then I was going down to Singapore and then here. When I got on the jet, I leaned back to relax, and I went, oh, this is nice. And I looked up, and there was a screen in front of me. You've been on a plane, you've seen it. I thought, this will be nice, I can watch movies. All of a sudden, on the screen, it pops up, and it shows where we were. We are here in Houston, and we're going to go to Moscow. I think we've all had an opportunity where we've been into a mall, a big shopping center, correct? And when we go into that mall, we're not sure where the shop is that we want. So we always find that big board, huge board. And on that board, there's always a little red dot. Yes? And it says, you are here. And then we determine from that dot where we want to go. The last, I think we all have a smartphone. Yes? Yes? Yes. We have a smartphone. And on that smartphone, we have a GPS. You have to tell that phone where you want to go. On a new system we have in America, it may be old in the rest of the world, but now I have a system that not only tells me where I am, but after I key in where I'm going, it tells me what's going to happen on the way. I'm going to have police in the next 2 miles. I may have a car on the side of the road. I may have debris on the road. It talks to me and tells me what I'm going to see headed towards my destination. Today, you are here. All of you want to go there. You want to become financially free. I'm here to share with you some of the things that I've learned over 41 years that you're going to see on that road as you go. I'm going to share with you some principles. I'm going to share with you some motivation. And I'm going to share with you some ideas that's going to help change the direction you're going. Can I say uh-huh to that? Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Okay, that's all I need. Now, before I get started, though, I've got to do this. Victor and I go back a long ways. I was Victor's upline in the last business he was in. And I have to say this, I don't want to brag about him too much, but he was the best student that I ever had. Whenever I would go to Budapest, Hungary, he would always be on the front row, and he'd always have a pen and a piece of paper, and he would take notes. And I said at the very beginning, and I will share with you now, be taking notes on what I'm going to say today. If you're not going to take any notes on what I'm saying today, then I'm nothing more than an entertainer. It would have been cheaper probably to bring an entertainer in. I'm here to help you develop financial freedom. I will say something today that's going to help you. I will give you a word. I may give you a sentence. I may give you a strategy. Something is going to affect you today. And that's the way that we always work together. I always taught my leaders, when you're around a mentor, write down what they're saying. Because if you don't, the information never becomes yours. It always remains with the speaker. So I'm here to do that for you today. And Victor was one of my best students, probably one of the best out of my whole 41 years. So I'm very proud of him. You're very fortunate with him in that he has worked in the field. He has done what you're doing, just as I have. I've also spent a little time with the other two partners. Great guys. And it was exciting the other night when I was spending some time with them. I like to watch people. Do you like to watch people? Yes? I like to watch them. I like to observe people. And what I observed from the other two founders was authenticity. They were authentic. I work with a lot of different companies, a lot in network marketing, billion-dollar companies. And some of the owners are not really that authentic. And so when I find someone that has that, I get excited. And when I look at what you have right now and the potential of what you have, and I look at the ownership of this company, they have a very unique quality that all three of them can work with one another in different areas. You've got a great CEO, you've got a great IT guy, a guy that gets it together on the backside, and you got Victor for the people side. That's very, very unique. And if you will capture that and you understand that, then it's up to you on how big you want to make this company go. Okay? Now let's get busy. I'm going to test the translators back there. Promise not to talk too fast. I'm here for two reasons. Number one, I want to help you to become a better person. I'm going to give you principles and ideas to help you become a better person. Number two, I want to help you professionally. Is that okay? That's my purpose. That's the only reason I'm here. I want to help you succeed. I don't have all the answers in life, but at age 70, I've got a few more than some behind me. And what I have learned in life, in this industry, is that most companies fail and most distributors fail because of one issue, and it's called pride. They start very humbly, but sometimes they get a little too prideful as they grow in life. So today I'm going to talk to you about number one, 4 pillars that I want you to write down, that I want you to always know. That'll help you personally. Number 2, I'm going to give you some leadership information that'll change the way that you look at your organization and how to build an organization. Because, see, it's not about you. It's about how many millionaires you can create. You create enough of them, you'll become one. And then number 3, I'm going to talk to you about creating a culture, a contagious culture. Creating a culture that's alive, where an organization's moving in one vision, one voice. Then I'm going to end with 6 points. So that's where I'm taking you today. Now let's talk about number 1, the 4 pillars. It's going to be fun. Over here in this part of the world, we have, when we say football in America, we mean football. Over here, it's soccer, right? Yes? This is yes. This is no. And this is I'm sleepy and I want to go home. Give me something, okay? Well, we have football in the United States, and we had this coach one time that came to help a new team. He was going to work with a new team. And he was sitting there, and his name was Vince Lombardi, and he came in. It was a bad team. So what happened, the press came to interview Mr. Lombardi, and they asked him, said, Mr. Lombardi, what are you going to do? How are you going to change this team? I mean, this team is terrible. Are you going to change the offense? Are you going to change the defense? Are you going to change the players? And Vince Lombardi leaned back as a coach in his chair, and he looked at the cameras. He said, no, we're not going to change the offense. We're not going to change the defense. We're going to pass the ball better. We're going to catch the ball better. We're going to tackle better. And here were the words you need to write down. We are going to become brilliant on the basics. Brilliant on the basics. Brilliant on the basics. I've seen it so many times in this industry. Distributors get in, boy, they're on fire, and they're out there, and they're tired, they're going to tear it up. And then they get away from the basics. The basics in this industry is what? Recruiting. Listening, creating relationships. But what will happen, all of a sudden you'll start building this organization, and you might get up to 10 people. Woohoo, man, you're on fire, right? And then you get up to 20 people. And then instead of recruiting and going out, you decide it's time to turn around and teach all these people. And you stop your personal momentum. The basics in this business is recruiting. Now listen, number 2, retaining. I've been around 41 years in this industry. I know a lot of men and a lot of women that's made $3, $4, $5 million a year. I have never been impressed with how much money a person makes. I'm only impressed with how much they keep. And if you can't secure what you're building, you'll never keep it. So what I want to share with you today is how to secure this income. And that's why I want you to be focused on the basics. In the United States, we also have race car racing. They do it in little bitty tracks all over the United States, little dirt tracks, right? And these little guys will get out there in their cars and go around and around. There was a gentleman in the United States. He was just an old cowboy. He lived in North Carolina, kind of like, I'm just a dirt cowboy, But every time he would race, 9 out of 10 races he would win. 9 out of 10 he would win. It got so good, and he started winning so much that the local sports people, ESPN or Fox Sports, said, I've got to go interview him. We've got to find out how in the world does he win so many times. He's winning 90% of his races. So here comes the cameras. They're on him, and he's standing there, and he's just in an old pair of Levi's. They said, how you do it, Charlie? How in the world are you winning 9 out of 10 races? And he said this, I ain't got no brakes. I either win or I crash. Number 2, know what you can control and know what you can't control. Do not get sidetracked. If I've ever seen anything, it's to watch people when they enter the business, is to see how long it's going to take me to help them develop into leadership. The first time I met, Victor, what I watch for is, are you a student? And can you control your mental capacity in a crisis? Because this whole business, for you to win and for this company to win, is for it to create leaders. Okay? So understand what you can control and what you can't control. Do you realize the majority of the people worry more about things they can't control than what they can control? Let me give you a couple of things you can control. Your attitude. Your attitude. I've just seen people lose it. I've spoken in coliseums of 60,000 people. I've had huge organizations. And sometimes I'll have to put programs together that we started small and we got bigger, and I'd have people come to those events and they'd lose it. I'd get a phone call and, they had a problem with a room, or they had a problem with something, or they had a problem. Instead of thinking through it and responding to the situation, They react. I'm going to do something now. They lose control. So control your attitude. Now watch this one as a leader. People are watching you. Control how you respond to pressure. Leadership is where you want to go. Number 3, I sit on a board with a gentleman named J.W. Marriott. He has a little hotel chain around the world. And I remember the first time I met him, I had dinner with him, he and my wife, and we were, I think, in Washington, D.C. I was so excited. I love to get around men and women that have started with nothing and created something. So I went to him and I said, Mr. Marriott, how do you do it? Now, this is Junior. How do you do it? How is it that I can be in Mumbai? I've been there many times. Russia, Korea, any place around the world, Japan. I can go into any Marriott, and it's just amazing. How do you do it? Where do you find these general managers, and how in the world are they so good? What do you look for? And I never will forget his statement. He said, Bobby, what I do when I go into the hotels, I get my general manager, and I take him to what's known as the heart of the house. The heart of the house is where all the accounting and all the other different staff members are. And he says, I watch this. I take my general manager and I see how he relates with those other managers. My growth in my company is because I have people that know how to build a relationship. Number 3, if you can't build a relationship, you will not survive in this industry. You will not do it. Relationships are the key. Relationships with your upline. Relationships with those that you're mentoring. Relationships with the company. I can't tell you the number of battles I've seen where, and I've been in some of them, where the company and the distributors have 2 different value systems. And it gets ugly. So remember that, relationships. And 4, before we get started today, have some fun. Just have some fun. My wife, on my tombstone, she's going to put, he was just kidding. Because wherever I go, I always joke. I always have fun. And my wife said, he's just kidding. He's just kidding. I was in a restaurant the other day, McDonald's. Anyway, I was in McDonald's. And I went in and I asked for, I think it was an Egg McMuffin, right? And this little girl, okay, Egg McMuffin, yeah, cup of coffee, cup of coffee. Okay. She said this, would you like to eat that here or take it with you? I said, hopefully both. Now you're getting it. She just stood there. She didn't get it. Have some fun. Hey, guys, I've been on a wonderful journey. Because of this industry, at age 33, I retired. I'll never retire. At age 33, I refired. I got excited about living. I got excited about it. That's what you can do. I've been free for a long time as a result of this industry. So I get very serious when I talk to people. I get very serious when I look for leaders because I know that I've got to find the leadership team that's going to go on when I'm gone. So have fun, though. Enjoy the trip. Understand this. This room right here, this is your first convention, right? This will be the smallest convention you'll ever have. It will never get any smaller than this. You guys you understand you're pioneers. You are writing the history of where this company's going. So enjoy the trip. Get to know each other. Next, let's talk about leadership. I'm going to pick it up back there, girls and boys. Leadership. Google leadership. And you're going to get 746 million hits. If you put in there leadership articles, 464 million hits. You go to any bookstore, and there's book after book after book after book on leadership. I could go around this room right now and say, give me a definition of leadership. Every one of you would have something you could contribute. Yes? Yes. I'm going to give you 3 definitions. These are very important definitions because, see, whether you win in this game or lose is how fast you can become a leader. And oh, by the way, I owned 4 corporations before I entered this industry. I thought I had all the answers. I had none. This business will stretch you to points that you didn't even know you had a point. Because now you're in the people-changing business. You're in changing behaviors of people. You become a doctor of solutions. Okay? Listen to this one. General Powell. Leadership. Leadership is about solving problems. When your people no longer bring you their problems, they no longer see you as a leader, or they feel you just don't care. Do you understand the bigger you get, the stronger you get, the bigger organization you build, the more problems you'll have? Say, you will. And I can't tell you the number of people I'll talk to. Oh, Bob, I was talking to a distributor the other day. She makes $250,000 a month. And I've been mentoring her. She's losing it, right? She said, they just bring me all their problems. I said, get on your knees and say, thank you, God. Because they still see you as their leader. See, having problems is the leadership that you're going to have. It's not something you run from. It's something you embrace. It's something you get up every morning expecting it. Oh, you don't pray for it. Oh, God, give me problems. No, but you're ready for it. So leadership is solving problems. Number 2, another general, General George Patton. He had all of his captains together. He was getting ready to go into a battle in World War II. This guy was tough general. He's in this tent. He has all of his captains stand up. He said, give me the definition of leadership. They'd stand up and he'd say, that's wrong, sit down. And they'd sit down. He went around all of his captains. At the end, he was putting on his helmet, putting on his baton, putting in his pistol, and he looked at his men and he said this, leadership is being shot and killed, but never missed. In this industry, it's not how big you get, it's how many people you can duplicate leadership skills in. If you can't do that, you will fail. Shot and killed, and residual income means you're laying in bed making money. And you're doing that because you have put yourself into other people. And then the last definition of leadership is John Maxwell, a friend of mine and a contemporary. John Maxwell says this, leadership is influence. It's influence. The bottom line, right? Everyone in this, now listen, everyone in this room will influence a minimum of 12 people every day. Every day. Every day you're going to influence someone, up to 12 people. You're going to get out of bed and you're going to influence your wife. You're going to influence your kids. You're going to be driving in your car and somebody will cut you off and you'll influence them. Things will happen. You'll go to work. But every day you're going to influence 12 people. In your organization, your people are looking at you. What kind of influence are you? How do you walk? How do you talk? How do you dress? How do you respond to challenges? That makes sense? Leadership is influence. In my book, The Power of Layered Leadership, my definition is this: the positive, progressive, ethical influence on others. You've got to read the book, Amazon. Positive. You can't lead an organization like this unless you're positive. This is not a place to be, well, I think it's going to work. You've got to be alive. You don't have to be insane, but you have to be positive. You've got to get the dopamine up here working for you. You've got to open up all those learning centers. Okay? You have to be progressive. You have to become a student of this business. When I got in this industry, I had the opportunity to work with a gentleman that's still amazing. His name's Dexter Yeager. And I spent years with Dexter. And every time I was with him, I was taking notes. I was always learning. If you ever stop learning in this industry, you're gone. Become an intentional student. Keep working with yourself. Read biographies of men and women that have achieved success. And ethical. Ethics is the glue that keeps it together. Ethics is to determine whether or not this corporation will remain together, and I believe it will. Are you with me so far? Are we having fun yet? You thought you was going to get motivated. I'm here to help you become financially free. If you wanted somebody to come in and beat a drum and go, I can do that too. But see, I see greatness in you. I see potential in you. I see that you have the opportunity to be free. And I don't want you walking out of here thinking, well, it's just going to be a piece of cake. No, it's not. But it's worth it. It's worth it not to have to get up and go to work. It's worth it in order to drive any car you want to drive. It's worth it to live any place you want to live in the world. It's worth it, but you're going to work your butt off. Can I get an uh-huh? But it's going to be fun because we're going to be happy. Now let's talk about a creative culture, a contagious culture. What does it take? See, what I've viewed over 41 years of this industry is how many organizations have destroyed themselves. I've been with men and women that own their own Rolls Royces, own their own jets, fill coliseums of 20, 25,000 people that are gone today. I've seen companies, and can you imagine the number of network marketing companies I've seen in 41 years that started? Great ideas, great comp plans, and failed. And the challenge was they didn't know how to create this culture. See, the key here in what you have right now in an embryonic state is you have some owners that are working close together. They exercise their abilities so well one to another. You're young. The key is this: getting that group with your group moving in the same direction with the same voice. It comes from number one, this. You ready? Values. Values. I recently had the opportunity to become a partner and an investor in a pretty good sized company. I had like 500 employees, and my responsibility was to come in and to help train those employees. It was a good sized company, but the company had sat there 27 years dormant. So you can imagine I came in and I'm going to have to create a new culture for this company. Well, the CEO of that company and I were pretty close. And he started from the top. And he said, we have to have a set of values. See, what I've seen and around the world is most companies don't have values. Values are what keeps it alive. Values is your character. The three of us, the three partners, we went away and we had a company come in and interview each one of us separately for hours. Then they brought us together and listened to all of us talk. And then they went away and determined what our values were. That makes sense? They came back and here were the values. They said you're authentic, you're compassionate, you're humble, but yet you're vibrant and you're disruptive. You have values. You as an individual need to establish your values. Those values is how we hire people at our company. If they come into our environment, if they don't fit into those values, they're going to have a miserable, miserable time. It's not that we're better than any human being. It's just this is our values. If you come into our company and you've got a lot of pride and you know it all, you're not going to last. If you're humble, you're going to last. If you're compassionate, you're going to last. If you really care on how people think and how you can help them, you will last. That makes sense? And no company can stand for any length of time without having those values. Number two, you have to have a vision. You have to have a vision. There was a gentleman called Martin Luther King in the United States. He started the Civil Rights Movement. He stood on the steps in Washington, D.C., and he said this: I have a strategic plan. He didn't say that. He said, I have a dream. I go into corporate America saying, you got to have a dream. And they look at me like a deer in headlights. And they have to do that because they don't have the opportunity that you have. It's hard to dream when you know there's a top. There's no top for you. You can go as high as you want to go in this company. But it starts with a vision. Listen to this. A guy named Walt Disney. Have you ever heard about Walt? Listen to him. He said, anything that you can imagine and dream, you can have. He said, this whole thing here started with a mouse and a dream. Van Gogh said, I go to sleep and I dream about what I'm going to paint. And then I get up the next morning and paint my dreams. I have yet to meet an entrepreneur or a capitalist that has created wealth that won't tell you about it. They had a dream. And today around the world, some people are trying to take that dream away. But you got to have that vision. You got to have that dream. Values, vision, and now one voice. I'm just giving you the top water, guys. I mean, we can go hours on everything that I've talked about, but I don't want to do that. One voice. Lock this in. Write it down. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. When we started in Amway in 1975, we never sold one box of soap. And yet we did $1 billion. Why? We sold the dream. The dream. By having this opportunity, you can fulfill your dreams. You guys have got gold. Oh, that's wonderful. But that person sitting there, what can I do with that gold? I can supply answers to your dreams. People don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. I've had the opportunity to build 3 organizations, all of them to the top 0.25% income. I'm not a genius, but I know how to sell a dream. I know how to let people know that what they're working for, they can attain. I know how to transfer belief from me into a person, because most people don't have that belief. They don't buy what you do. Everybody used to say, and Victor used to hear me say this, I hate it. Don't you ever do this. If you're in my organization, Victor knew this. Don't ever come to me and talk to me about the competition. I don't care about the competition. There is no competition for the man and woman who knows who they are and where they're going. Everything looks better on the outside. Know what you have. Get excited about it. Nobody buys what you do. See, everybody else in network marketing sells, here's my plan. Here's my compensation plan. Here's my product. So what's different? My question to you, why would I want to be in this company? You ready to go deeper? Why would I want to be with you? Now you go back. Are you excited? Are you progressive? Huh? Are you positive? Why would I want to be with you? That's the why. Let me give you 3 little examples before I get into the meat of the message. Isn't that something? 3 brands. 3 brands. There's one called Walt Disney. How many theme parks are there around the world? Hundreds. But why is it that Disney World and Disneyland, I think they just opened in China, didn't they? A new Disney World. And they all succeed. But other theme parks just survive. Disney doesn't sell the rides. That's not what they sell. They sell you the why. Why do you want to come to Disneyland? Happiness. We are going to make you the happiest people on earth. That's their why. Bill Marriott. There's hotel chains all over the world. But why is it that Bill Marriott just keeps growing and growing and growing? He doesn't sell rooms. Come to my hotel and you'll be revived. Revived. The why. There's an airlines in America called Southwest. It's a little airlines. It just got bigger and bigger. They've never lost money since their inception in the 1970s, even when the gas prices were down. They don't sell transportation on a plane. Come and fly with us. You'll have fun. The why. People get excited. Am I making sense yet? See, you've got to have some things going on in your life personally. Then you've got to plug in being a leader. And then you can build this culture that will help you grow. Last point today. These you need to take down. I love history. Y'all love history? I love history. I read history all the time. There's one story I read in the Old Testament in the Bible. And it was, have you ever heard of Moses? Did he get this far? Okay, Moses. And Moses and God, I think. And now, what was happening, are you ready? Listen to this for a leadership lesson. I'm reading the other day, and I'm going, this is great history. What it was, are you ready? Moses died. He had all of these distributors with him. Children of Israel, right? And he was getting ready to lead them. And all of a sudden, bam, he dies. Just dead. Now can you imagine your big leader? Bam, they're dead. And when you read the history, it says all the people sat around for 30 days mourning. Oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Moses is dead. Our leader is dead. And God calls on a guy that was duplicated called Joshua. And he said this to Joshua after 30 days. He says, hey, Josh. Probably not like that. Joshua, what? Moses is dead. Number one, accept the reality for where you are right now today. He was saying, Joshua, accept the reality for where you are. It may not look good. It may look a little ugly. It may look a little bleak. But accept where you are. I will tell you today, accept the reality of where you are. And guess what? Each and every month, you get to reestablish that reality. Just like any corporation, each and every month, you start anew. At the end of the month, you either lost, you broke even, or you made a profit. It doesn't matter. You start over the next month, trying to put a string of months together to win. Number two, he said this to Joshua. Rise up. Quit laying around, groaning around, and going, I don't know what we're going to do. He said, rise up. Stand up. Get out there and get something done. Go do it, Joshua. Number three, he said this. Fear not. Write this down. Fear kills more people than death. People are going to be getting into your organizations and your group. You know what they're afraid of? They don't have all the answers. They're afraid of whether or not they can give a presentation. They're fearful on whether or not they have the ability to communicate. Fear, 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 fear. But remember what was told to Joshua. Fear not. The next one was this. Do not look to the left. Do not look to the right. Look forward. Next, focus. Focus. You've got to have such laser focus in this business, in this industry. You're not looking to the left. I don't care what the competitor's doing. I'm going to be steaming down the road. You don't look to the left or the right. You don't look back. You realize how many people spend so much time looking in the back? When I went into this company that we purchased, I walked in, 500 employees. I took out a rear view mirror of a car, and I took a hammer, and I busted that mirror. Bam! Their eyes got that big around. I said, we're never looking back. I don't care what this company's done in 27 years. I don't care. I don't want you looking back. Some of you guys have had some struggles. Things may have not gone the way you want them to go. Don't sit there and spend time. If God wanted you to look behind you, He would have put an eye right here. He didn't do that. Look forward. Look forward. And you know what He told him next? You ready? God told Joshua, expect great things to happen. Expect great things to happen. Man, get excited for where you are right now in this place with this company. But expect great things to happen. Expect you to be up here on this platform financially free. Expect the ability of having thousands upon thousands of people in your organization that you've helped become financially free. Expect great things to happen in this company. Don't sit around saying, boy, I hope it works. I remember when I went to Budapest and Victor did such a great job. I think we got up to around 3,000 distributors at one of his events that he put together over there. And I started the event by asking this question, how many of you hope to be a millionaire? Bam! Everybody's hands went up. And I said this, if you hope to be a millionaire, you'll never be a millionaire. Just like you, they're going. Folks, take the word hope out of your vocabulary and say this instead. I expect to be a millionaire. I expect for this company to win. I expect for my marriage to work. I expect for my family. I expect. Here's why. As long as you hope, your mind sets up a route of escape. That's why you hear people say, well, I was hoping I could be rich, but I knew down deep it wasn't going to work. See, they had an escape. There's no escape when you say, I expect for great things to happen. God told Joshua, expect great things to happen. And sometimes I see people going around, well, I sure hope this comes together. It won't come together unless you expect it to come together. And here's the last word for you. Are you ready? 4 times. Not once, not twice, not 3, but 4 times. God told Joshua, be strong, be courageous. Be strong, be courageous. Be strong, be courageous. Be strong, be courageous. He did that in a very short period of time. He must have really felt the fact that he needed to understand that he needed to be strong. What is strong? Being strong, write it down, is who you are. Back to values. Your character, your integrity, your ethics. You don't steal each other's people. You don't do stupid things like that. You don't hurt your own income. You don't turn around to your organization and talk negative. I can't believe that the company did this or the company did that. Folks, that's your income. Don't kill your income. If you have a challenge, you take it to your mentor. You take it to the company. You take it to someone up here. Your job is to breathe life into your organization, not death. Strong and courageous. Strong is who you are. Courageous is what you do. It's what you do. It's going to take courage for you to go build this. I'm a simple man. When I got involved in this industry, we'd lost everything. But my dream, and I always said, if one person can do it, I expect to do it. I'm going to leave you with a story. There's a college right up the road from me in Texas. It's called Baylor University. There's a gentleman there named Grant Taff. Grant Taff and I are very, very good friends. He's been my mentor. Grant's now 83. He's still strong. He's still alive, man. I mean, he's excited to be around. I love to go up and visit with him when I can. There's a big statue of him on that campus. That's how powerful he was at that university, and still is. Grant told a story. And here's the way it goes. When you go on that campus at Baylor University, you'll see these beautiful lights that light up at night. You know, big lights. Under each one of the lights is a name of an individual that lost their life in the war. Any war for America. One of those names is a gentleman named Jack Loomis. You can Google that name. Jack Loomis. Jack graduated from Baylor. He was a football player at Baylor. Then he went and played in the National Football League. Great athlete. And then the war broke out. Jack just took off and he ran and he joined the United States Marine Corps. He says, I want to be a Marine. I want to go defend our nation. Jack joins. Because of Jack's leadership skills, they made Jack a platoon leader, which means he had about 20, 30 guys under him. When you read the story of Jack, you'll find on a certain day that they invaded a particular island. And when that boat opened up and these men went out, 7,000 troops were killed. Jack kept going. He kept going up the hill, and he was waving on his guys behind him, come on, Come on, we can do it. Grenades were coming. Everybody was shooting at one another. He goes up a little further, and all of a sudden, a grenade hits him and blows his shoulder almost off. So he takes his other hand. Come on, let's go. We can do it. He goes up and he has another battle with another enemy troop, and he wins. And then as the story reads, it says some of his men looked up and they saw him in kind of dust, with all the battle, with all the bombs and everything. And they saw him in what they thought was a foxhole, a hole. And they said, there's Jack. And here he is going, come on, you can do it. And as his troops started running up the hill, they got up close to him and they looked at Jack, and he wasn't in a foxhole. Jack had both of his legs blown off. He was standing on two stubs, telling his men, come on, come on. Strong, courageous. You don't have to lose your legs to be a winner in this industry. But you have to be resilient. You have to believe in yourself. You've got to stay with the basics. You've got to learn how to duplicate yourself. You've got to learn how to talk, how to walk, and you'll win. I think you guys have got a wonderful opportunity here with some great men in leadership to lead you. The skills they bring to the table are phenomenal. You're going to go through some battles. It's going to happen. You know what that's for? To test your attitude. Test your attitude. The question is, each time you go through a battle, do you come out stronger? You have the potential here. The question isn't whether or not you can create a good opportunity. The question has always been, are you the people to deliver it? I think you are. Thank you for today. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, guys.